The Mario Kart series has its fair share of notable tracks, like Coconut Mall, Waluigi Pinball, and Rainbow Road. But within the series lie tracks that sometimes seem to be forgotten, tracks that aren't that interesting or just don't really have anything going for them. Today I've put together 10 tracks that in my opinion I feel are the most forgettable in the series. Now just to clarify, I don't hate these tracks, and I actually like most of them, I just feel they're the most forgettable. So with that all being said, let's get started with the first track. Snes Mario Circuit 4 is by far the most forgettable track from Super Mario Kart. For most tracks they'll have 2 or 3 versions, but not for Mario Circuit because we get 4. This is also the only track out the 4 Mario Circuits that hasn't been remade. We got the first one in Mario Kart DS, the second in Mario Kart 7, and the third in Mario Kart Wii. Looking at the track itself, it's really nothing special, and it's very similar to Mario Circuit 3, which just makes it even more forgettable. It's not a terrible track, just a bit unoriginal, but I guess you could say that for pretty much all the Mario Circuits. Now here's a track that I think is super forgettable. Cheep Cheep Island from Super Circuit is another track that doesn't really have anything going for it. The background looks great and the boardwalk section is pretty cool, but it's really just a slightly different Cheep Cheep Beach. Speaking of Cheep Cheep Beach, that track definitely overshadows Cheep Cheep Island as it's in the Mushroom Cup and it has been remade in Mario Kart Wii. Cheep Cheep Island is definitely an underrated one and I hope to see it be remade, possibly in one of the DLC packs from Mario Kart Deluxe, but we'll just have to wait and see. Sunset Wilds from Super Circuit is by far one of the best courses in the game. Not only that, it's so forgettable as yet again it hasn't been remade, aside from Mario Kart Tour which I think 6 people still play, and it is so underrated. It's a really fun desert track, and you don't see many of those. The background even gets darker as the laps progress, which is something that they just didn't have to add, but it's really cool, and it's something that we don't see in any other track. I also really hope this track is a part of the DLC, it'd be nice to see it finally return in a main series game. GBA Yoshi Desert, another Super Circuit track and also a desert level. And that's really all there is to it. It's just your average desert track and it falls under the radar for one simple reason. It's from Super Circuit, arguably the most forgettable game in the series. But Yoshi Desert is actually quite fun. It's got a cool Yoshi Sphinx in the background and an oasis partway through the track. To put it simply, this is a fun desert level that is unfortunately forgotten. And finally, the last Super Circuit track I promise is Bowser Castle 4. This track is fantastic and it takes you on a journey, as it's the longest Bowser Castle track in the game. But BC4 is forgettable in my opinion as it's the only one out of the 4 not to have a remake. We got the first one in Mario Kart 7, the second one in Mario Kart DS, and the third in Wii. Maybe we'll see it return as a DLC track in Mario Kart 8, I know I'd like to see it back. Overall BC4 is a great track, it's fun and it never gets boring, and the background also looks very nice. Moving on from Super Circuit we have a track from Double Dash, Daisy Cruiser. I had a tough time thinking of any forgettable tracks, but ended up setting on Daisy Cruiser. Daisy Cruiser is set on a big boat. Who could have guessed? And it takes you through the top of the boat, down through the dining area, and back around to the top. All around a really fun course. I feel that this track is forgettable as it's just simply overshadowed by other courses. It got remade in Mario Kart 7, but come on, this is Mario Kart 7 we're talking about. It's not a flawless game, but it's also not a bad one. Would you look at that, it's another Double Dash track. This time we're in Dino Jungle. This track is in the same position as Daisy Cruiser. Forgettable, overshadowed, and has a remake in Mario Kart 7. Dino Jungle is a really solid track, not one of my favourites but a fun one nonetheless. Throughout the track you are dodging dinosaurs, driving up wooden walkways and speeding through caves with geysers. This track was also remade quite early on in Mario Kart Tour, but no one is really bothered about that. Maybe it'll return in Mario Kart SDLC, but we'll just have to wait and see. 3DS Shy Guy Bazaar is an amazing track based on Super Mario Bros. 2. This is one of the better tracks in Mario Kart 7 but is unfortunately pretty forgotten simply for just being in Mario Kart 7. This track takes you through a bazaar, obviously. It's got stalls and markets, pots to smash into, and a gliding section with Shy Guys floating on carpets. This track is definitely one I'd like to see get remade in the Mario Kart DLC. It'd get more appreciation as I'm a big fan of it and it is really underrated and underappreciated. Wario's Gallium. Where do I even begin? I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I don't like this track at all. It's really got nothing to it and it's boring. For most of the track you're underwater, and the time that you aren't, you're driving through the ship, which only lasts a few seconds. I guess this track along with Cheep Cheep Lagoon were tracks only made to show off the underwater mechanics in Mario Kart 7, which I can't blame them Nintendo for, you gotta try new things, but that still doesn't change my opinion on the track. Overall, it's a good attempt at giving Wario his own track, but it could have been a bit more interesting. And finally, the last track of the list is Rosalina's Ice World. It is what the name says it is, it's a world of ice. Like Wario's Gallium, the track was probably an attempt to give Wario his own track, but this time with Rosalina. And what did they do? They added the Comet Observatory at the start of the track, and that's it. The track itself is alright, it's kinda boring and doesn't really have much to it besides a short underwater section followed by a cave section. Nothing else I really have to say about this track. I guess it just became forgotten because in my opinion of how simple it is, there really is nothing to it and it's a bit boring. And there you go, those are 10 Mario Kart tracks I believe have been pretty forgotten. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a comment below and let me know what you think, it helps out a lot. Also be sure to let me know what Mario Kart tracks you think have been forgotten and I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thank you very much for watching the video and I will see you all soon.